fine. Today I'm going to check the chat quickly. ذكرى بالله عليك ما اشتقتي لي؟ لا طبعا يا باسم، يعني long time ago. باسم one of our group من chemistry lovers، بس من الناس long time ago يا باسم. How many years? I don't remember. حد من الناس القديمة في الجروب بتاعنا. طبعا I missed you والله يا باسم. 3 years ago. Oh my god. يعني thank you for joining والله يا باسم، و thank you ان انت لسه you still remember me يعني. it's a pleasure. هلو يا أميرة، هلو يا جوجو. لا أكيد طبعا يا باسم، يعني it's my pleasure. أكيد for sure. أدينا بصي يا باسم، احنا إن شاء الله we're going to go not this week, the week after we will go outside. So if you're here in Kuwait you can come with us، بما ان انت من الناس القديمة معانا هنا في الجروب ان شاء الله، عشان هما everybody in my في tuition they want to go out. Every day they are telling me miss when. I told them ان شاء الله this week طبعا we don't have vacation, the week after we have. if you are there come with us، عشان انت من الناس فاكر الوعد القديم لما كنا بنقعد نتكلم. we will meet طبعا we'll meet. remember me as well teacher from June 23. مهاب طبعا I remember you يا مهاب، one of the best برضه. طبعا I remember you. والله أنا بفرح جدا لما ألاقي الناس unforgettable. thank you والله. I am unforgettable. thank you so much. طبعا الناس الجميلة دي عمري ما هنساها أكيد، يعني for sure especially الناس اللي already I said I will get an A star. طب الحمد لله. كل الناس الجميلة اللي already they joined with us long time ago أكيد for sure especially في free classes، بحس إن هما بيبقوا غاليين عليا أكتر من أي حد تاني بصراحة يعني. بجد AS Chemistry ربنا معاك يا رب يا مهاب. خلاص ده AS Chemistry they're done unit 1 unit 2 next week. لو احتجت أي حاجة يا مهاب قول لي في AS for sure يعني. I'm here for you. ربنا معاك إن شاء الله وتعمل حلو وتحل أحسن حاجة في الدنيا في AS. unit 1 was good، فإن شاء الله unit 2 كمان تكون إن شاء الله حلو. I'm done in June I'm retaking. ربنا معاك. ربنا معاك يا رب يا مهاب. Any help just tell me. I'm here for you for all my classes والله يا مهاب. Not only the free classes, even the other classes. You're invited to any class you want. ربنا معاك. ربنا معاك يا باسم. القياس كل الناس بتاخد قياس اهو. يلا بينا. Let's start. So for today, we're going to continue our journey. We were talking about, if you remember, we were talking about atoms last class. So for today, we are going to continue and we are going to talk about ionic bond. طيب, let's revise quickly. What did we say about atom? We said in the atoms in general, they are neutral. يعني this means in the number of protons are always equal to the number of the electrons. يعني if I want to write, let's say مثلا sodium is 23 and 11. يعني this means in always the number of the electrons and equal always to the number of the protons. يعني since it has 11 electrons يبقى for sure it has 11 protons. يبقى this means the atom is neutral. This means the atom is neutral. يعني it's not a positively charged one, it's not a negatively charged one. عشان الكويستشن ده كان موجود في الباست paper. Why do we say ان الاتوم is neutral? I'm going to say because the number of positive protons are equal to the number of negative electrons. طيب, if I'm going to check بقى ionic bond, why do atoms أصلا bond? Why do they bond? Usually the atoms they bond because they want to have a full outer shell. يعني if I am a metal and you are a non-metal, we want to make a bond so we can have in the outer shell a full one. I don't want to have مثلا, let's say for sodium مثلا it's 281. لا, I want to have 28. So when my outer shell is going to be completely full with electrons, what will happen? Since the outer shell is going to be completely full, but this means I am stable. So I will show you now. يعني let's say مثلا I'm having sodium. Sodium is 11 with 23. We said I'm going to use which number? We're going always to use the small number. We don't use the big number في الatoms والbonding. But since I'm having 11 electrons, I'm going to put 2, and then I'm going to put 8, and then I'm going to put 1. طيب, for this part, I'm going to check بقى outer shell electrons. First of all, if you have في outer shell 1 electron or 2 electrons or 3 electrons, for sure this is a metal. If you are having 1 electrons, 2 electrons, 3 electrons, for sure this is a metal. If you are having 5 electrons, 6 or 7, this is a non-metal. يعني I will show you now for chlorine. Chlorine is 35.5 and we are having 17. So 2, 8, 7. If you check the outer shell, you're going to have 7 electrons. Since it's 7 electrons, this means I need to gain 1 electron because I want to have here 8. يعني أنا my target. And why do I bond? Atoms in general, they bond because they have, they want their outer shell to be completely full with electrons. يعني I want the outer shell to have 8 electrons, or to be full يعني. طيب, as I told you, if you're going to find the outer shell 1 electron, 2, 3, this is a metal. If you find في الouter, not total, في outer 5 electrons, 6 electrons, 7 electrons, so this is a non-metal. طيب, once I have a metal and non-metal together, I'm going to form a bond. What do we call this bond بقى يا Monsieur باسم? We are going to call it ionic bond. Take care يا مهاب إنه في bonding في الميتالز والنون-metal وفي another type of bond اللي هو between non-metals together. يعني later إن شاء الله next Friday we're going to take the bonding اللي في non-metals together اللي هم covalent bond. This happens when you have 2 non-metals. But for now we're taking the ionic one, which is always between metal and non-metal. طيب. What are they going to do? Let's see بقى. All the time, let's say this is our friend sodium, this is chlorine. So the sodium, what does the sodium do? Sodium is 281. يبقى what do I want to do as a sodium? I want to lose my outer shell. I don't want the electron in the outer shell. I want to have only 2, 8. I don't want the electron in the outer shell. But what about the chlorine? The chlorine is 2, 8, 7. يبقى what does the chlorine want to do? The chlorine want to gain 1 electron. So if the sodium lost 1, well, chlorine gained 1, so we did a bond. We did a bond. What do we call this bond? We call it ionic bond. طيب, يبقى let's see how I'm going to draw this. Oh, this is the sodium. As I told you, if you check here, you're going to find and the sodium is having, check كده.
Miss, I only draw outer shells, right?
Yes, you can draw only the outer shell, it's fine. اهو بصوا check كده with me. For this one, I'm having little text. So I'm having for sodium 281. So you can draw, take care يا جوجو. Sometimes he will ask you draw all the shells. But normally if he didn't ask, you can just draw the outer shell and that's it. يعني normally if he didn't ask you to draw all the shells, you can just draw the outer shell. But if he asked you to draw all the shells, وده اللي موجود بقى في new exams, يبقى you need to draw all. Take care. طيب, since هنا I'm having 1 electron في الouter shell, يبقى what am I going to do as a sodium? يبقى I'm going to lose this electron, you see? I'm going to lose the electron of the sodium. So what about the chlorine? The chlorine was 287. يبقى what does it do? Hey Omar, it's going to gain the electron from the sodium. So the sodium again. أنا دلوقتي بقول الsodium is having how many electron? 281. Am I right? What do I need as a sodium? I want to have a full outer shell. To have a full outer shell, يعني this means I don't want the electron in the outer shell anymore. I don't want it. So that's why I will lose it. يعني I have 1 electron more extra at the end. I don't need it. So I will give it to you. And you are chlorine. Chlorine, you are having 287. So you want to have an outer shell. What do you want in the outer shell? You want to take this electron, so you will have 288. Am I right? This means in both of us we are stable or not? In both of us we are having 8 electrons in the outer shell. You got my point? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome. What does stable mean? Stable, it means it doesn't إن هي stable يعني to have a full outer shell يعني it's not going يعني خلاص كده stable فاهمة؟ It's not going بقى to lose ولا to gain. It's going to be stable لأنه it has a full outer shell.
Like noble gases?
Exactly. It means that now it's going to have the same configuration like the noble gases. Yes يا يحيى. يحيى ليحيى.
بقول هو انتوا احنا ليه تاني نحط البراكت في ال Na تاني؟
I didn't mention this still. I will say it now.
اوكي.
Okay. So first of all, as I said, the sodium is going to lose electron or chlorine is going to gain. طيب بس البوينت ايه بقى؟ يحيى is asking a very important question. طب now خلاص I took ال electron from the chlorine. But I have one more problem. What's the problem? إنه if I'm talking about let's draw it كده. If I'm talking بصوا كده يعني I was having sodium 11. صح؟ احنا قلنا الصوديوم 11 يعني 2 8 1 2 8 and 1. طيب I'm having chlorine is 17 يعني this means 2 8 and 7. What do they do? احنا we said ان الصوديوم is going to lose the outer shell. طب when it will lose the outer shell electron, this means it was having 11 electrons و 11 protons. It was having 11 electrons و 11 protons. طب later once it lost electron يبقى this means it will become 10 electrons only. بس again it is the same protons لأن the protons are more than the electrons by 1. Am I right? هما normally they are equal. 10 electrons 10 protons 11 electrons 11 protons. فsince إن هما from the beginning they were equal 11 و 11. But now I lost one electron. فwho is more by 1? كده الprotons is more by 1. That's why once I lose electron I need to call it sodium plus. Why should I call it plus? لأنه الصوديوم once it lost the electrons هما كانوا equal. It lost one electron يبقى this means the protons were more
More
by 1.
protons.
Excuse me?
More protons than electrons.
Exactly. That's why I should show in the protons is more by 1. طب what about the chlorine? The chlorine is 287. So this means I'm having 17 electrons with 17 protons. طب I will gain one electron. Since I will gain one more electron, I was 17 or 17. طب now I have one more electron. Will protons as they are 17. يبقى this means I have one more electron. يعني one more negative. يبقى that's why I'm going to call it Cl minus. We call this chloride. Why do I call it chloride? Why do I call it chloride? لأنه normally both are equal. But since I gained one more negative, يبقى I need to put a negative charge at the end. Okay? Clear?
This is the halide ion, right?
Sorry?
This is the halide ion.
Exactly. This is a halide. بصي الهالوجنز اللي هم group 7 like chlorine, bromine, iodine دول الهالوجنز. لكن once they gain electron, I'm not going to call them halogen, but I'm going to call them ايه؟ I'm going to call them halides.
Halide.
Yes.
Halide.
شطور. Okay. So if I want to draw, take care. Usually when I want to draw, I need to draw one circle A. يعني one of الصوديوم I need to call it A.
Sodium.
No, I mean the dot. One of them is supposed to be A. Dot و A.
One of them dot and cross.
Exactly. One of them it's supposed to be a dot, with the other one must be a cross. All the time. يعني don't draw both of them same. لا. One of them is a dot, one of them is a cross. Okay? طيب there is another. Yes يا يحيى.
هي قصدك ايه يعني ايه one is a dot and one is a cross؟ قصدك ايه؟
حاضر هقول لك انا خفت يا يحيى. براحة عليا يا يحيى بس. قصدك ايه؟ حاسه ان انا متهمه كده. حاضر يا يحيى انا هقول قصدي ايه. I'm so sorry. بصي يعني مثلا دلوقتي انا كنت 281 يعني if I will use الالكترونز بتاعت الصوديوم انها dots. يعني let's say مثلا الاوتر شال انا خلاص هي it was 281 صح يا يحيى؟ I will lose ال1 يبقى الاوتر شال بقى فيها 8. am I right؟ 1 2 3 4 يبقى انا كده I use the dots. ماشي؟ طب الكلورين بقى you will use بقى dots برضو ولا cross يا يوكي؟ أو 287. since إنها 287 يبقى أنا this is the chlorine. I will draw بقى الأوتر shell 1 2 3 4 5
أو
6
ممكن نعمل
7
10.
and then you need to show إنه ال 8th electron يا يحيى I'm going to take it from the sodium. That's why I do one of them dot with the other one cross to show the difference between both. And
اوكي
then
اوكي شكرا.
okay يا حبيبي. And then I'm going to put here plus or I'm going to put here minus. Why did I put it like this? لأنه you need to show in the sodium it lost, so that's why it will change into positive. Will chlorine it gained, so that's why it's going to change into a negative. Take care. When I draw this, this is not going to become a metal and a non-metal anymore. This is called a positive ion. This is called a negative ion, or you can call it cation or anion. Cation هما positive ion or anion هما negative ion. I'm not going to call it a metal or non-metal anymore خلاص. This is a bonded positive ion or negative ion. Why I'm saying this? عشان هيجي لنا question في كامبريدج وفي Edexcel هيقول لي what's meant by ionic bond. حبايب قلبي بقى. It is the bond between metal and non-metal. لا إله إلا الله. 100% wrong. 0 out of 2 ما شاء الله. This is not a bond between metal and non-metal. I'm begging you, please take care from this question, please.
It is the losing.
Once I ask you what's meant by a bond, أولا you don't start by your answer by the word bond, the number one. يعني don't start the definition, it is the bond between, لا. You need to say it is electrostatic attraction force أو it is the force of attraction. يعني you need to say إن البوند دي كانت force of attraction. Between what and what? Between the positive ion and the negative ion. This what I mean by the ionic bond. Please, this and this are not going to be a metal and a non-metal anymore. This is a positive ion, this is a negative ion. Please take care about this. So once again, it is the attraction force between positive ion and negative ion. طب في Edexcel sometimes the students بيقولوا it is the electrostatic attraction force between oppositely charged ions. Again, it's correct. هم الاثنين opposite لبعض. One of them positive, one of them negative. So again, it's correct. Okay? طيب. What else? We're done with this part. لكن if he asks you, as I told you, في drawing, to draw all the shells, يبقى you need to draw all the shells. If he didn't ask, you're free. You can draw the outer shell only. طيب, let's take مثلا if I want to draw magnesium chloride. How should I draw the magnesium chloride? Take care. Magnesium is only 1 mg. Well, I'm having how many chlorides? I'm having 2 chlorides. So I will draw here 1 mg. The mg is 12. Am I right? So 2A2. And I'm having 2 chlorines. Every 1 chlorine is 17. يعني 287. Again 287.
Miss,
Yes.
هو الدوت والكروس diagram بنستعملها في الأيونيك بوندينج بس مش في الكوفالنس صح؟
لا وفي الكوفالنت كمان برضو بنعمل دوت وكروس. See?
يعني في البوندينج in general.
Next class إن شاء الله. Next Friday هناخد بقى covalent بإذن الله. So
معي
yes.
سؤال.
Sure.
وحضرتكم أخدت did you take isotopes؟
Yes. Last Friday we took isotopes.
اوكي اوكي.
بصي يا يحيى, you are going to find it on the YouTube. You are with us on Chemistry Lovers صح؟
Yes.
هتلاقي لو موجود على الجروبس بتاعت Chemistry Lovers هتلاقي الفيديوز هتلاقي الفيديو موجود. I put it today. وتراي يا جماعة please to attend لأنه sometimes ممكن الريكورد for any reason. يعني أنا this time I spent more than 3-4 days I was searching for the record because it was on the iPad. I don't know how to, it was not easy to get the record. Maybe as you see the video was not showing in the record يعني. Please يعني it's better if you can, it's better to join the class. That's better than the record يعني. طيب magnesium, as I said, 282. So once I'm going to check the outer shell, I will find that I have 2 electrons in the outer shell. So this means I need to lose the 2 electrons. I will lose these 2. So what about the chloride? Every chloride is going to gain 1. as you see here, every chloride is going to gain 1. Why? لأنه every one is having 7 electrons in the outer shell. يبقى this means I need 1 more. يبقى المغنيسيوم is going to lose 1 و every chloride is going to gain 1. طيب, when I want to draw, you can just draw for the magnesium, the outer shell only. You can just write magnesium, by the way. يعني you can just write it like this. Magnesium, and you draw the bracket. تكتب الcharge. You can draw it like this. Or you can draw the outer shell. Both are okay. But don't draw 2 بقى. يعني don't draw 2 electrons في الMg. This is a fatal mistake. Why don't draw 2? لأنه already the two are lost. But don't draw the 2. So it's going to be في outer shell 8. يبقى 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the Mg. Okay? For here, this is every chloride. طبعا I'm going to draw. ودايما نرسم every 2 electrons together. يعني دايما draw every 2 electrons together. Okay? طبعا I lost the 2 اللي في outer shell. That's why I will write positive 2. If I lose 1, I write positive 1. I lose 2, I write positive 2. I lose 3, you write positive 3. And so on. طيب, for every 1 chloride بقى, what should I do? For every 1 chloride,
Yes. طيب,
yes.
when do we write like negative -1 أو -2 كده?
Always the minus is for the non-metal. Because here every 1 chloride is having 7 electrons in the outer shell. يبقى this means you need to gain 1 more to be stable. Am I right? Correct?
Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, you're welcome. So I will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. The 8th electron already I took it from the magnesium. That's why I'm going to do it as a dot. It's not a cross. And then this is the other chlorine. أهو. You can draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. طب every 1 chloride is going to gain 1. يعني I have 1 more electron than the normal. يبقى I need to put here a minus. Why did I put a minus? Because I want to show إنه every chlorine gain 1. But since now it gained 1, I need to put a minus charge. A negative charge. Yeah. Okay? طب someone will tell me, Miss, يا Miss, يعني should I draw يعني 2 chlorine? طب ما Miss, don't draw both. We just write 2 and that's it. Is it going to work? Yes, it will. بس please do it like this. مش عايزة بقى ال 2 هنا وهير وdown ها وهير. مش عايزة التاتش please. You don't want to draw 2 chlorides في brackets, no problem. But write a big 2 here and that's it before the chloride. Well, this is as it is minus. Don't write here -2. لأنه every chloride gained only 1. فsince إنه every chloride gained 1 يبقى you need to show إنها it's going to have a يعني every chloride will gain 1, so it's going to be only 1 negative. Don't put 2. If you put here 2, this means إنه every chloride gain 2 electrons وهي every chloride gain 1 only. أو every chlorine يعني gain 1. Yes يا جوجو.
بس أنا دلوقتي ما ينفعش أرسم له في الأول 2 electrons وبعد كده أوريه يعني diagram التاني إن هو عمل losing the 2 electrons وبقى 8 كده
هو
ولا
one of them lost و the other one gained. What do you mean?
يعني أرسم له الأول الشكل بتاعهم الطبيعي وبعد كده
No,
بعد ما
no,
عملوا
no need. You want to draw before or after? No need.
yes
No, no, no need. Just draw after and that's it. No need.
يعني always in the exam draw
Yes,
after.
yes, yes. You just draw after. That's it. Okay.
Thank you, Miss.
Someone is asking في الchat about the carbon. The carbon we're going to take next Friday. The carbon is always doing covalent bond. We will take it next class إن شاء الله next Friday. Covalent bond كمان is so tricky. But it's really important. إن شاء الله next week we are going to take it next Friday. وبرضه يعني I will try once we're done with bonding, I'm going to do a class for past papers. So we can do all the ideas. يعني next Friday إن شاء الله mostly we will take covalent. Then we are going to have الgiant والmetallic in one class. Then we are going to have a class for all the past papers. Okay, yes يا يحيى.
Yes, I have an off-topic question. I'm asking, is there do you know any papers, like what papers will come in like chemistry exams, like paper 1, paper 2, like paper what?
This is a very general question يا يحيى. You're talking about school exams ولا you're talking about
أيوة أيوة
Brittleness
yes
exam ولا you're talking about Cambridge ولا Edexcel ولا إيه؟
I think it's Cambridge ones.
Cambridge exams, it's paper 2, paper 4, paper 6. Paper 2 is multiple choices. Paper 4, it's essay question, اللي هي long questions. Paper 6, it's the practical one. For this part, the bonding, it's mainly paper 2, 4. If you're talking about this topic specifically, it's not going to be paper 6. لأنه paper 6 is experiments. Like the previous topic that we have taken, اللي هو ways of separation, filtration, evaporation, okay, this is paper 6. Like for this
thank
topic, paper 2, 4.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. طيب, let's continue. So this is for the magnesium, or this is for the chlorine. As I told you, take care. He want you to draw all the compound, well, he wants you to draw the outer shell only. This is very important. طيب, and when we do past papers, I will show you different ideas about this. طيب, this is how we can do also magnesium fluoride. بصوا, what's happening في magnesium fluoride? If you check here, you're going to find
Magnesium has lost 2 electrons, one
correct.
for one fluorine,
That's
the
true.
other for
The magnesium في outer shell, magnesium is 282. So every magnesium is having في outer shell 2. يبقى it's going to lose electrons. Who will take it? Every fluorine is going to take 1 electron. لأنه every fluorine, الفلورين في group 7. Since now في group 7, يعني this means عنده 7 electrons في outer shell. This means it's going to gain 1. يبقى every fluorine will gain 1. أهو every fluorine gained 1. يبقى this means إنه every one من الفلورينز, طبعا now we call it fluoride لأنه it gained 1. The charge is going to be -1 لأنه it gained 1. Every one gained 1. طيب, for the magnesium is going to be +2 لأنه it lost 2. بس في trick بقى. When I draw this, I can tell you something to remember. I always say this to my students. Non-metal with N gain electron with N who form negative ion. You can remember it like this, so you'll not forget it. So non-metal gain electron who form negative ion. Okay? المetals بقى, they lose electrons or they form positive ion. لكن non-metal, they gain or they form negative ion. أهو. These are the non-metals. They gain the electron and they form negative ion. So all of them, like Nour, all of them starts with N. يبقى المetal do the opposite. Lose electron who form positive ion. Okay? I think it's easy. وطبعا as I told you, usually it's one of them metal, one of them non-metal. طيب, the last part of this topic, it's talking about how does it look like, an ionic compound in general. How does it look like? It looks like a crystal. It looks like a crystal. What do we call this crystal? Lattice structure. We call it lattice structure. What do I mean by the word lattice? Lattice, it means in one of them, so it looks like the crystal كده. حتى even if you're going to get some salts from the kitchen, like my whole sodium chloride that we put on the food, this is sodium chloride, this is a ionic compound. If I'm going to get some salt, or I'm going to look at it, it's going to you're going to find it looking like crystals. So it is mainly positive ion, negative ion, positive ion, negative ion. So all of them are what? If you check here, it is a regular arrangement of alternating, يعني one positive, one negative, one positive, one negative, one positive, one negative. So it is the regular arrangement of alternating positive and negative ions, as you see here. Regular arrangement of alternating positive or negative ion in this 3D dimension. If you check here, this is a 3D dimension, one of them positive, one of them negative. So if he asks you, what's the structure for ionic bond, you are going to, or ionic compound, you're going to say, you know, it looks, it's there in crystal structure or lattice structure. But if he asks what's meant by the lattice structure, you would say regular arrangement of alternating. You need to say alternating, يعني بالتبادل كده, one positive, one negative. Positive and alternating positive or negative ions in 3D dimension. طيب ودايما هيكون which one is bigger? Always the negative ion is the bigger one. دايما positive is the smaller one. لكن usually the negative one is the bigger one. طب why the negative is the bigger one? لأن positive it was مثلا let's say sodium 11 يعني 281. Since it's 281 you will lose how many electrons من outer shell? It was 281. Exactly, it was 281. يعني this means you will lose how many electrons from the outer shell? You lose 1. Logic? طب since you will lose 1 هي كانت 281 you will lose
You
1
shrink.
يعني this means the size will become ايه؟ smaller صح؟ It will become smaller يعني هي كانت 3 shells كانت 281 it will become 28 يبقى size will become smaller. نفس الكلام في المغنيسيوم كانت 282 it will become 28. Am I right؟ يعني دايما positive ion they are always becoming smaller. لكن النيجاتيف كانت 2 مثلا 87 it will become 288. So it's almost 3 shells as it is. No change in the size. But دايما positive ion will become smaller. لكن النيجاتيف as it is in the size. Yeah. Why? لأنه في Cambridge they asked this question before regarding the size. They gave them more than one option. One of them positive ions كانت bigger, one of them the positive ions were smaller. So you need to know إنه for here the negative one is always bigger while positive is always smaller. Yes يا جوجو.
مس هي بيبقى على شكل كريستال ولا لاتيس؟
Yes. ما هي lattice structure. هي it looks like crystal. ما هو الشكل ده شكل
It
crystal.
looks like crystal بس هي عندها لاتيس structure.
Exactly. lattice يعني حاجة منظمة كده يا جوجو. عارفة؟
يعني هي
شبه
regular
الكريستال
3
هي
dimensional.
looks like الكريستال بالظبط. انت لو جبتي مش عارفة if you get the salt go كده in the kitchen و get some salt هتلاقي ان هم شبه الكريستالز بالظبط. Exactly looks like the crystals. اوكي؟
طب هو معلش ممكن يعني
alternating يعني بالتبادل يعني one of them positive the other one negative. مش كلهم بقى positive مش positive negative negative no. بصي تشيك كده you're going to
مش
find
لازم
one of them.
البوزيتيف يكون أوي.
excuse me اهو بصي negative and then positive and then negative. شايفة؟ negative positive. So they are always
بس
alternating.
مش لازم النيجاتيف يبتدي الأول ولا البوزيتيف
لا
يبتدي
it's
الأول.
fine it's fine it's fine.
شكرا يا مس.
العافية روح قلبي المس. طيب what about بقى properties? This is the last part for today. What are the properties for the ionic compound? The ionic compound, we have, usually when I ask you about the physical properties for any ionic compound, you need to talk about, does it have high melting point or low melting point? Is it soft? Brittle? Or is it malleable? Does it conduct electricity? Well, it will not conduct electricity. Is it soluble in water? Well, insoluble in water. So once again, these are the physical properties that I need to talk about. Is it soluble in water or not? Is it conducting electricity or not? Brittle ولا malleable? High melting ولا low melting point? Type. First of all, the attraction force between them, between the positive ion and the negative ion is really a very strong ion, a very strong force. طب since إنها very strong force, do you think it's easy to break?
No, it's hard to break. It's an electrostatic force. Even in physics, we know it's.
That's true. So since the force D is really a strong force, very strong force of attraction, يبقى this means you need you need large amount of energy to break it. Am I right? Correct يا حسين. صح يا حس. So it is a strong force of attraction between the ions. يعني this means you need large amount of energy to break it. It's very hard to break it لأنه it's really strong. So if I ask you, an ionic compound has a high melting point or a low melting point, you will say high melting and boiling point. Why? Because they have strong force of attraction between the positively charged ions and negatively charged ions. كده أخدت 1 mark. So large amount of energy is required to overcome the forces. Once again, any question في البوندنج هيسألني ليه السبستنس دي عندها high melting point أو عندها low melting point, you need to talk about two factors. الفورسز أخبارها إيه؟ Does it have high strong forces ولا weak forces? This is number one. ونمبر two, it requires large amount of energy ولا small amount of energy to break. So for this question, I will say because it has strong force of attraction between the oppositely charged ions. So large amount of energy required to overcome the forces. Type. Number two, is it soluble in water ولا insoluble? I will show you now something so you can imagine what do I mean. For بصوا كده. I will
They
show
only
you.
conduct electricity when they are in an aqueous solution, but not in solid.
Exactly correct. هي it will conduct electricity in two cases بس يا جوجو. اللي هي ايه بقى؟ It will conduct electricity when it is molten أو aqueous only.
Yes,
Yes. لكن وهي solid it will not.
it will not.
Yes. لأن ال ions are not going to be free to move. بصوا كده. I will show you. This is أهو بصوا. هنا this is the ionic compound when it's a solid. يعني in this case this is ionic compound, it's a solid, it doesn't move. So this means I will say no free moving ions. يعني the ions are not free to move, they cannot move freely. But what about if I break the bonds? Tuck, 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 what will happen? All the ions are going to be free to move. In this case, the ionic compound will not conduct electricity لأن هم they are connected to each other, it will not conduct. But in this case, لا ال ions هنا are free to move. So that's why they will conduct the electricity. يبقى once again, if I'm talking about this one, the ions here are connected to each other, they don't conduct. لكن here, in this case, they will conduct electricity. يبقى I will say for this one, when ions or an ionic compound are solid, they don't conduct because there is no free moving ions. يعني الاينز موجودة، الصوديوم والكلورايد موجودين بس they are not free to move. Okay? لكن once you melt it هسيحها. melting ده it will break the forces between the ions. So the ions can move ايه يا ميرو؟ It can move freely. That's why it will conduct. طب ايه other option؟ لو أنا if I don't want to melt it, I can add water. Again, what does the water do? Once you put the water, what will happen? The water will break the lattice. It's going to break the structure. It will break this lattice. It will break the crystals. So all the ions are going to be free to move. But in this case, again, it's going to conduct electricity.
بس يعني الميلتنج بتعمل بريكنج للبوند، اما adding الواتر ما بتعملش بريكنج للبوند بس بتكسر الستراكشر.
هما في two cases, if you melt it or if you add water, in both cases it will conduct. في المولتن أو الأكيوس it will conduct لأن ال ions are free to move. لكن if it's a solid, لا it will not. Yes. Yes يا ريناد.
بس هو solubility لها علاقة بالreactivity.
What do you mean solubility لها علاقة بالreactivity؟
يعني the more soluble it is the more reactive.
No. انت عارفة يعني ايه soluble؟ يعني جبت دلوقتي شوية water مثلا، جبت شوية water كده، قمت جبت أي بليت وحطيت فيه water وحطيت salt. Soluble. It's not related to the reactivity خالص. No. في some
Okay.
yes في some substance are soluble in water, others are not. It's not related to the activity لا. Okay يا رينات. So again, if it is solid, it's not going to conduct electricity. If it is molten or aqueous, it's going to conduct electricity. طيب then يبقى احنا we said high melting or boiling point conduct electricity when molten or aqueous. Number 3 إنها is going to the third property إنه أكيد it is soluble in water لأنه once I put it in water the water will break all the lattice, it will break the crystals. So that's why as you see here it's going to be moving freely. It means إنها it's a good conductor. No, it is soluble in water. طيب
يعني
our
كل
last
الأيون found soluble in water.
قول إيه؟ كل الأيونات compound soluble in water.
بجد؟
Yep, they are covalent بقى هم next Friday. Next Friday بقى will take covalent. لا they are not soluble in water. لكن الأيونيك they are.
اوكي.
Okay. طيب. Let's continue. The next and the last part, it is talking about ionic compound. Are they malleable or are they brittle? This is our last property. طيب, what do I mean by malleable and brittle? If I'm having, يعني imagine with me كده, I'm having positive و negative و positive و negative, okay? And then here negative, and then here positive. Why it's drawing in this very weird way. تريدي اللابتوب أحسن يا جوجو؟ والله الآيباد better. Negative and
بس
then
هو احنا ممكن بدل ما نعمل melting عشان يعمل conducting electricity نعمل boiling.
no لأنه these are solids. Boiling ده لو كانت حاجة liquid you want to change it into a gas, لكن all these are solids already.
يعني كل ال ionic compounds are solids.
Yes طبعا for sure. But see, this is an ionic, as I told you, this is ionic compound. I want to do a force, يعني I want to break it. If I'm going to get a very big, يعني مثلا I will go to the kitchen I will get a rock salt كده, piece of rock, a piece of salt بس a big one. اوكي, زي الحاجات اللي بتبقى يعني شوية salts كده connected لبعض فشبه الروك. فأنا if I'm going to start knocking أو hitting this salt, what will happen? You're going to find them, they will bend, the salt will bend, ولا it's going to separate? What do you think?
separate.
Exactly. Why بقى it will separate? أقول لكم بقى. لأنه once I will do the force, I will find إنه this force is going to بصوا كده. The force is going to shift the ions. يعني هنا كانت negative positive negative positive. طب once I will do force, the ions will be shifted. The ions will be shifted. هيتزحزحوا كده. It will be shifted. So the negative بقى في مين below it negative والpositive بقى below it في positive. فهنا هيبقى في repulsion between the ions. Why repulsion? لأنه I'm having positive positive وهنا I'm having negative negative. So all of them they will repel. لكن هنا they will attract. يعني هنا هيكون في attraction. بس in this case there will be repulsion. لأنه the layers it will be negative negative positive positive. So they will repel each others. لكن هنا they are still attracting to each others. You got the point? Is it easy?
Miss, I do not get it that much.
Again, I'm saying, if I'm having the ionic compound, I will start knocking or I will start hitting it. What will happen? كان في البوزيتيف مع النيجاتيف they were attracting each other لأنه positive negative أي حاجة opposites they always attract. لكن once I will do بقى الفورس هتلاقي الاينز حصل لها shift, هتتزحزح كده شوية. It will shift. يعني بدل ما كان النيجاتيف تحتيه بوزيتيف هيبقى النيجاتيف تحتيه نيجاتيف والبوزيتيف تحتيه بوزيتيف. you see?
هيبعدوا عن بعض.
Exactly, they will repel. يعني the layers will separate لأن البوزيتيف بقى below it فيه positive والنيجاتيف بقى below it فيه negative. all the ions are going to the ions are going to repel بالظبط. They will separate from each other. Yes.
ليه علاقة بالفيزيكس.
هما أكيد الكيمستري related to physics يعني أكيد for sure يعني. Okay. So that's why I'm going to say إنه ionic compounds I'm not going to say they are malleable. لا, I'm going to say إنه ionic compounds are brittle. يبقى I'm going to say إنه ionic compound they are brittle يعني the layers will separate. They are brittle. إن شاء الله when we take not next week the week after malleable we will know إنه ionic metals are malleable لكن ionic compounds are brittle. Brittle it means when you do a force you will find إنه particles كده will separate أو ions will separate. That's all for the ionic bond. Next class إن شاء الله is going to be the covalent. الcovalent again بصوا هو الionic separate والcovalent separate هما they are so easy. لكن once بقى الquestion بتبقى mixed كده يحصل confusion. عشان كده I will give إن شاء الله next class الcovalent alone and we will do once we're done بقى كمان من الميتاليك والgiant covalent I will do a class only for past papers for all the drawings بقى so I can show you different ideas لل past papers إن شاء الله once we're done with the bonding.
بس يعني هما الأيونيك are brittle معناه إن بيحصل لهم repulsion
Exactly. That's
بس malleable معناه
Miss, thank you for the class.
You're most welcome يا حبيبي. You're most welcome. By the way, إن شاء الله in the week of the vacation اللي هو not next week, the week after, I'm going to do 2 classes for moles during the week. Mostly it's going to be at noon يعني يمكن 1 o'clock 2 o'clock. Not next week, the week after. عشان I found that a lot of students they are struggling with moles. So I will write on the page exactly when it's going to be, but it's not going to be next week. It's going to be the week after إن شاء الله. If you are feeling any problem with this. Thank you best teacher
بس
حبيبتي.
احنا عندنا امتحانات
Thank you for the class. Thank
عندنا
you.
امتحانات after next week.
The lesson went so fast because we are enjoying it. Really. Thank you والله it's my pleasure. ونفسي تيجوا كمان يعني والله لو يعني if it was possible for me ان انتوا اجيبكم كلكم والله في السنتر to enjoy more والله I would. since ان هم حتى في السنتر بيقولوا لي انه الوقت بيعدي بسرعة. حبيبتي يا جوجو والله انت اللي
بس
بس. ايه يا حبيبي قولي لي.
يعني هو احنا يبقى عندنا موز في الأسبوع
No, I'm saying no not moles. احنا لسه بنعمل bonding. انا بقول ان انا عشان انا في students كتير قوي they are asking me about the moles ف I told them انه in the tuition يعني I will make not next week the week after في الفاكيشن ان شاء الله هعمل عندنا في الكويت مش عارفه هو in everybody in everywhere ولا لا بس in Kuwait we're having not next week the week after half term vacation 1 week vacation. ف in this week I'm going to do 2 classes for moles during the week عشان كل الناس اللي عندها problems مع المولز. يعني I know moles is so tricky. Thank you so much. The Ionic bond. الله ده مين اللي كاتب كل البروبرتيز دي؟ It is my first session and I like it. And I like it a lot. Thank you so much. Ryan Okoda. Rain Okoda. Thank you so
Yes,
much
Rain.
والله. Rain صح؟ ولا Ryan؟
Yes, rain.
Rain. It's supposed to be pronounced rain but usually the most common إنه Ryan لكن rain. You're most welcome Rain. It's our pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. يعني it's really good that you like the class. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love you too. Thank you so much. بحبك قوي والله وأنا يا نور
Thank you
والله
so
بموت
much
فيك.
for this session.
You're most welcome يا مزان. عاجبني قوي you're most welcome يا براء. عاجبني قوي النيمز شايفة ما شاء الله lovely names كده ونيو names حاجات حلوة names كده motivating. حسام thank you so much for writing all the properties. دعاء you're most welcome يا روحي. ومريوم حبيبتي والله you're appreciating my efforts يعني thank you so much for appreciation. I will see you إن شاء الله next Friday. Can't wait for next week. Do your best. I will put the record إن شاء الله on the group once it's done. وأبعت لكم كمان PDF. I'll put PDF of my topic for all the atoms and bonding. So if you have any problem, you can just ask me. وonce إن شاء الله we're done with the bonding كمان هعمل لكم one class how to write the formulas. Today كان في ناس مش عارفة في ناس معانا هنا ولا لا. Today afternoon I was doing it in the tuition. فإن شاء الله after we're done with bonding I will show you how we will write all the formulas. وهبعت لكم كده على الجروب PDF كده فيه formulas كتير. إن شاء الله we are going to do I will teach you how to write the formulas و how to do the balance once we're done with bonding إن شاء الله. we will do a lot of work بإذن الله later. do your best كده و study well please. ماشي؟ You're the best. Thank you يا روحي. I hope your hard work pays off. For sure it will. For sure it will. I love you so much too والله. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Kaya, it's always my pleasure dear. Me too. I enjoyed والله. You're most welcome يا ريناد. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Enjoy your week. I will see you next Friday. I'm gonna miss you. Bye.